Did you just clap your hands to test your microphone?
Yeah, it's habit. I do it every time.
Is that like an old trick? And is that still something they do in the radio land to test microphones? Like they'll clapperoo, or is it
a little clap, a little click, a little 1 2 1 2 testing 1 2 1 2.
And good question for you.
Yeah.
When the audio when it's dead air for any reason, if there's like a minute silence or something like that, does your system, which you use in your radio career and radio world, does it cut in with like an emergency broadcast or something because it thinks the system's gone down? But I've heard before, like if it goes quiet for about 10 or 15 seconds, sometimes it thinks, oh God, something's going on, and then it starts playing music or something.
Yeah, it depends on depends on the station really, because some places are more some places it kicks in sooner than others. You must have heard on I've heard it on radio on the big pop station before, when it like something went wrong at an OB and then it just kicks in with a bunch of pre-recorded songs and links and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard a story once where it was like a minute silence for Remembrance Sunday or something, and the system started playing music because it thought the system had crashed.
It was actually silent. Yeah.
Do you reckon that would happen if we ever went quiet? Like we just, our minds both went blank and we both didn't know what to say, and it just turned into dead air on this podcast live on air. What do you think would cut in? What would start playing?
Should we try it? I think I have actually loaded the emergency tape.
Go on then.
This is Heroes of Handheld, the internet's premium handheld gaming podcast. We can't be with you at the moment due to technical issues, so we'll be back soon. In the meantime, here's a classic episode from the archive, episode 244. Hi, welcome to episode 244 of Heroes of Handheld. This is the internet's premium handheld gaming podcast dedicated to all things handheld, whether that be Switch, iOS, Android, Vita, PSP, 3DS, PSP, blah, blah, blah. Colin, how the devil are you?
Chris, I missed you last week.
Yes,
really
thank you for doing the job.
It's always very lonely when I don't get to hear your voice.
Ah,
because like you bring the sarcastic wit and the intelligence to this podcast. I feel you're the brains of the operation. You're so smart. Why are you so smart?
That's genuinely a very kind thing to say. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, man. How was the karaoke last week?
It was banging. I smashed it with the Pina Colada song.
What's the Pina Colada?
If you like pina coladas, I get it caught in the rain.
So there was no Disturbed being sung. What?
No, I don't really know. Apart from the intro and the chorus, I don't really know how the verses go on that.
It's Down with the Sickness, isn't it? Get down with the sickness. What?
Open up your faith and let it flow into me.
See, you could have done it. You even got the voice nailed down.
Oh, thanks.
Brilliant.
Mate. Have you been? I've missed you. You're a good guy.
I'm a good egg, am I? Be all right, just get by, like getting through life and, just the usual shit, really. Playing my video game. Well, actually, no, I've not really played any video games this week, but I'm still playing Golf Dash. Oh, God, I've forgotten the name. I play it every day, and I've forgotten the name. What was it called? Golf Battle. I spoke about it like a month ago. I'm still obsessed with Golf Battle. If you haven't got Golf Battle, you need to get it. It's free on iOS and Android. I think Android. It's definitely free on iOS. No excuse. It's fun. Online game from Miniclip. So fun. Chris, you should get it.
Well, I've been too busy, Colin, playing a game on my Switch to go straight into it because I've been playing an excellent game called Tangle Deep. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about this on the podcast. Do you remember?
Yes.
And at the time, we watched the trailer together and we said it was coming to Switch on January the 30-something. And I said, this looks like a Chris Pearson game. And guess what, Colin? I can officially confirm that it is very much a Chris Pearson game.
Oh, wow.
Tangle Deep is a top-down, turn-based roguelike where you play as a character who can have a variety of jobs. Your classic, like your wizard, your archer, your paladin, your monk, your barbarian, all this kind of stuff. and it's an isometric kind of bird's eye 2D view. And basically, you play as a character who goes further and further into the dungeons of Tangle Deep to try and find new loot, find new gear, new armor, new abilities. You level up, you come out, you have another go. It's a classic kind of formula. But what I think the game does really well is you move around, and you can't see it if you go by the default options, but you can turn it on. You move about on a grid column.
Yeah.
And what's really good is that if you want to do something quickly, you can just hold A and travel in the direction you want to go in, and you can auto attack and blah blah blah. Or if you're getting really stuck and really finding it really tricky, there is a real depth to the fact that you can play it as a turn-based fighter, and so you can really take your time. And obviously, the easier levels you can kind of blitz through. Then as you get further into Tangle Deep, you find it more and more difficult. You have to collect more and more loot to bring back with you. And then there are 3 modes you can play where your character, either you die, you just come back to the start of the dungeon, or you die, you lose all your equipment and you get reborn, but you can keep some bits, or you die and you lose your character forever. So I'm playing on the middle difficulty, which is what they recommend. But I would like at some point to have a run where you play on the hardest, because it's the sort of game that I think would reward you for playing like that. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's $20 on the US eShop, which I guess would be about 16, 17 pounds over here. The music's really good. It's surprisingly deep. There's a lot of kind of meta stuff you can do.
Is it Tangle Deep? Oh,
very good. You can tame animals. You can upgrade your equipment by journeying into it, like in Disgaea, where you can kind of travel into your swords and beat the sword boss to make your sword better. Nice variety of monsters. Yeah, I would really, really recommend it. I think it's a really good, fun game. And I think if you are after something, I mean, it's very tactical, and I've not finished it yet, so I don't know how deep the dungeon goes, but it's very challenging but rewarding at the same time. So if you're in something, it's kind of like a turn-based Diablo. I would really check it out. I'd really recommend it.
Is it the sort of game where there is a long tutorial sort of section at the beginning, or do you go straight in head first, start battling, and it doesn't hold your hand and tell you what to do? Because of these sorts of games, I feel, especially the turn-based games, there can be like this big tutorial section at the beginning, like a sort of prologue to the story, and it's sort of a bit annoying. You just want to get into the action.
Let me be real with you, Colin. There is a tutorial, but I don't. Personally, I find the tutorial a little bit lacking in covering certain things, because the game originally came out on Steam and then has come across to Switch. It means that the interfaces are a little bit difficult to manage, because they have been adapted for the Switch, obviously, but they were originally based on using a mouse and keyboard. So I found that it can be a little bit clunky to try and sort things out. And I think personally, the game does a really good job in telling you how to do certain things, but not a good enough job in telling you how to do other things. So I would say somewhere in the middle. But I mean, you can just run in and go. But I would recommend playing some tutorial, at least the first couple of levels of the dungeon, because you'll learn a lot about the mechanisms and the systems and types of enemies and such.
This is the sort of game that I expect to play on PlayStation Vita back in the day.
Oh, yeah, it would have been an excellent Vita game, especially with that nice big OLED screen. This screams Vita release 2014, maybe 2015.
I mean, initially, I looked at some images on Google Images, and I was thinking, like, the art still looks a bit ugly, not great. But now I'm looking at it on a sort of larger scale. I do like the detail on there. Like, there's a wooden bridge I'm looking at here with like a river running underneath it. It looks very pretty. And there's a safe and a goblin as well. This sort of reminds me of that world in Disenchantment. Disenchanted. Have you seen that show on Netflix?
No, I don't know that.
Is it? Am I saying it right? Disenchantment? It's the Matt Groening one. Matt Groening.
Oh, I have seen that. Yes, it is called Disenchantment, I think. With the I can see what you think now. I wouldn't personally say it's like that, but I can understand why you think that.
That's the idea I have of it. Well, I'm glad you've been enjoying that, Chris. I've not actually been playing much in terms of my Switch this week. I've not even played much of FIFA, if you can believe that, because I've been reading my book, But as well as
Wait,
that,
hang on. What book are you reading?
Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Do you actually know it?
I know the film.
Oh yeah, apparently the film's terrible. I've not seen the film. It's got
Yeah,
Nicolas
I've not
Cage
seen
in it.
sorry,
Yeah,
I
but
meant
yeah,
I know of the film. I've not
it's
seen
good.
it.
It's good. It's based on the war. It seems good at the moment. I'm assuming there's going to be some big twist in it or something because it's a bit too happy. Well, it's happy as happy can be in a film that's set in a book that's set in World War II. So I'm imagining there's going to be some sort of shocking, sad bit in it, but it's very good. I'm enjoying it. Anyway, but game I will be playing is Rotera, which is a puzzle game which I have downloaded today. I haven't played much of it. I played the first level. It's a puzzle game where you manipulate the world. It's basically where you've got a character. I think the main character is called Angelica. I think that's like a princess or something. Not had much time to divulge in the story yet because it's one of those games where we're talking about tutorials where you're sort of like thrown straight in. It's not really a tutorial as such. All there is prompts on the screen, which is sort of a good way to do it. And basically, you've got to create a path from the character, getting from the beginning of the level to the end of the level. You can manipulate the ground. You can flip the map upside down and round, upside down. It's really it's intriguing. I'm liking the premise at the moment. I've only played one level, as I said, so I'll give that more of a review maybe next week. I'm hoping to get a bit deeper into it.
It looks really pretty.
It is. It looks very nice actually. The worlds are really well designed. What I've seen, and really cool, very colourful, and it looks lovely on my iPhone. It's $5 to download in the US if you did want to purchase it. $4.99. But I'll give you the full review next week. That's Rotera, which I'll be talking about, and it seems fun so far. I mean, puzzle games, there's a lot of them, so it's always good to find one that it tries to change it up a little bit. And this one looks like. Yeah, it's changing up. It sort of reminds me of like a Rubik's Cube sort of world where it's all like squares and you can change blocks. So it's sort of like that. We twist and turn to make it fit what you need. At the moment, it's very straightforward. And the first level is pretty straightforward, but I'm guessing as I get further in, there'll be like loads of dead ends and loads of things that are going to trip you up and confuse you. So yeah, looking forward to playing more of that. I'll speak about that next week. And hopefully I'll also get back into playing Sonic Mania Plus because I've sort of neglected that. I got it for Christmas, played the first few levels, but I've just been playing so much FIFA on my Switch. And I played a bit of Rocket League as well. Such a great game, Rocket League. So fun. So yeah, hopefully. Oh, I saw that this week. What was it that came out? It was a Titanfall Battle Royale was released.
Yeah, it's something Apex something or other.
Yeah, that's free on Xbox,
Switch.
isn't it? Yeah, it's not on Switch yet, but it's free on Xbox. I haven't played that yet, but I saw the amount of downloads it had in one day was ridiculous. Millions and millions and millions. Can't remember how many though. Anyway, that's cool. Right, so shall we start talking about some news because we've got a little list of things here to talk about. So
yeah, there's loads to go through this week. Can I kick off, Colin?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to talk to you about a little game called Overcooked 2 because the Chinese New Year. Stop that! The Chinese New Year update has just been released. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I will play and download it later.
Is that an Onion King in the picture?
It is the Onion King.
Wow, there you go. Didn't know there's an Onion King.
Cool. So the game is just releasing a Chinese New Year update, which features new restaurants based around Chinese New Year's, where you'll cook new recipes, including delicious fruit platters and also hot pot, which looks quite good fun. New chefs, including a dragon and a pig. However, Colin, the real thing I want to talk about here, and this is huge. Huge. It's huge. Is the new game mode, survival mode, where every dish you serve will add seconds to the timer. You'll be cooking against the clock to survive for as long as possible. It's available for every kitchen in the main game, the seasonal DLC, Surf and Turf, both the seasonal updates and the Surf and Turf DLC. Now, if you've played Overcooked, and if you're like me and you love Overcooked and you play it, and people will have out there, they'll have certain friends who are their Overcooked friends who they play with. This survival mode is going to be huge because most of the maps in Overcooked are about 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long. And by the time you find your stride, quite often it's too late. Like by the time you really get into the system, it's like, you know, they quite often will cut you off when you're kind of only reaching your potential. So this could be massive, like like basically a horde mode for food. I think it's going to be really, really exciting, and I can't wait to play it. I'm meeting one of my very, very good friends who I play a lot of Overcooked with. I'm meeting in a couple of weeks, and I think we're going to spend quite a lot of time on this because it could be a game changer. I'm so excited. I'm so glad they've listened to fans and added it, and it's free as well.
Free is good. We do like free updates.
Yeah, it's huge. Really good at them. So this is out now. Overcooked 2 Chinese New Year update. If you played survival mode, we'd love to hear from you at Handheld Podcast on Twitter. Send us a message. I can't wait to try this out.
Nice. You do like your Overcooked, don't you?
I love it. I just love it, Colin. I think it's a great game. I think it's criminally underrated on the Nintendo Switch.
I wouldn't say it's overrated. A lot of people do talk about it and do seem to like it.
No, I said underrated.
Yes.
Yes, underrated.
Yes. Oh, right. Okay. I see what you're saying. It's fine, Chris. I'm sure it's good. I just see when I think of Overcooked, I just think it's one of those games where you're in like a little kitchen and you just, people are coming up to the counter and you've got to fulfill the orders, and it's just like gets busier and busier, and you've got to try and build up your restaurant empire.
I mean, you're more thinking of something like Diner Dash. This is more of an arcade game, but we should play sometime, man.
Maybe one day. Maybe. I'm sure it's good. I mean, they're still doing updates to it, so it must be good.
Colin.
Yeah.
Give me some news.
Well, I want to quickly talk about 2 bits of news here, and they are related to release dates of games. So let's start with the more slightly negative one to start with. And you remember Mario Kart Tour? Remember this was teased quite a while ago now. Was it last year?
Last year.
Yeah, basically the mobile version of Mario Kart, which people are like, oh, this could be intriguing. Well, I'd forgotten about this, but initially it was slated to be released in March 2019, so next month. But it's been revealed by Nintendo that it's now been moved to summer 2019, the release date. And that means it could be any time between June and September. It's quite a large window when you talk about summer. So according to Nintendo, the reason they've delayed it is in order to improve quality of the application and expand the content offerings after launch. As we endeavor to develop future planned applications, we will also focus on continued service operations for applications that have already been released so that consumers can enjoy playing them for a long time. So it looks like they want to do it properly. I mean, I think Super Mario Run, was it Mario Run? Super Mario Run.
Yeah.
That, from what I've heard, from things I've heard, that didn't do as well as they thought. That game, it didn't give them as much income or much money as they thought it would. So maybe they're trying to perfect this one, because I know Mario Kart is a huge name and a huge money bringer for Nintendo. So they need to get this right. And I always do worry about mobile racing games and how good they are, because really there's only 2 ways you can do it. You can either do it with like on-screen controls, with like the virtual joystick and things like that, or by actually turning the phone, the whole.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, making that.
I hate that.
Same.
When you're lying in bed, and you just have to be like, woo.
I remember.
I hate it.
Do you remember when Uncharted Golden Abyss on PlayStation Vita made you do shit like that all the time?
Oh yeah, you had to find the candle.
Oh god, the worst one was when you had to put over a lamp. That was so annoying. So we led in bed, like, for fuck's sake, I had to stand up and put over my bloody lamp. Like, for God's sake, and then there's a bit where you're walking across like a bit of a thin plank of wood or like a rope or something, and then like halfway through you go, whoa, and you have to like steady the Vita, otherwise you go flying off. Well, we wait and see. It's good that they're spending a bit more time on it. I mean, this is similar, I guess, to the Metroid news last week, where they're starting that from scratch because they want it to be perfect and good quality. So yeah, they really do need to get this right if they want to. I don't know. I mean, Mario Kart always sells. They've released so many different versions of it, and it's always very popular. But I think they need to get the formula for the mobile version perfect to, as they said, keep people coming back. And I think maybe that they're hinting at Mario Run. Like, they had quite a big upsurge of people buying it initially, but then very quickly the playership sort of dropped off. And I think after about a month or 2, people sort of forgot about it. I mean, that's the thing with mobile games. They really do come in and out of fashion really quickly. Like, I know obviously Pokemon Go is still a big thing for both of us, but then you think about the huge playership it had initially, and that was absolutely huge for the first few months. but a large percentage of the playership dropped after that and moved on to something new. So it's good that they're trying to focus on getting people to stick around for it and make it so people want to come back and play it. But we wait and see. I mean, the summer's not too long away. I mean, if it's the early part of summer 2019, that's only about 4 months away, isn't it? Yeah, 4 months. So we wait and see. I'm intrigued. I just hope they price it right. I'm sure. I hope it's about a $5.
Yeah, I am worried about this because I was kind of worried about it anyway.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've delayed it so they can work on stuff that basically sounds a bit like DLC, which is I totally get, but I feel like get the basics right first. Yeah, I just worry about it, and I feel like Super Mario Run is a fun game. It's just marred by the fact you have to be online when you play it.
Oh yeah,
but you know they managed to. To be fair, they took a control system we all know and love on other consoles, and they managed to make it work for phones. So I feel like it's possible that they'll be able to make it work for racing, but I don't know. And I also worry about how things like multiplayer are going to work because Nintendo famously multiplayer phobic, especially on Switch at the moment. And I'm like, how are you going to do that for this? I just get worried about it.
Yeah, they need to nail the online really for this. I mean, it seems like such a simple thing to do because I keep going on about Golf Battle, but the online side of that is absolutely fantastic. Like you get paired up with like 6, 7 other players, and you're all trying to obviously get the ball to the hole as quick as possible, and it works seamlessly. There's barely any lag, nothing, no issues at all. Surely, if they can do it, Miniclip can do it. Surely Nintendo can do it well. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, which is the revamp and remaster of Crash Team Racing, which is arguably one of the best racing games ever created, one of my favorite games of all time. As you were talking there, Chris, I'm watching the 10 minutes of gameplay footage. This is from Polygon. I've got this on the article. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait for this. Oh, honestly, the online part of this is going to be so fun. We have to play this. This has got to be something.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if they're going to add any characters like Spyro the Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, Spyro's actually been in Crash Team Racing before. He was on Crash Nitro Kart on the Game Boy Advance SP. Like you could unlock Spyro once you completed the campaign and then did all the time trials. You unlock Spyro, which is really weird and quite cool actually, because Spyro was like he's sort of like propped up on the dashboard of the car like a dog. Like his 2 little paws are on like the steering wheel.
Amazing.
Like that. It was cute. So it has happened before. So you'd imagine there'd be something like that. But I mean, in terms of other characters they can introduce, who else is there? I know there was obviously the characters that appeared later on after Crash Team Racing. You know, the ones that were part of Twin Sanity and what other games were there? There was the Wrath of Cortex, which was the PlayStation 2 one. There was it Crunch? Who's the main villain in that? The new clone that Cortex created, and you had to fight him at the end.
Yeah, there was a I played a Crash Bandicoot party game for the DS.
Yeah,
I wonder if maybe we can get some Crash Boom Bang. Let's get some of the characters in Crash Boom Bang over.
Do it. Oh, Dingo Canyon was one of my favorite maps on Crash Team Racing. Oh, I'm just watching this. It's absolutely brilliant. Who's your favorite racer on Crash Team? Did you actually? Was it Crash Team Racing? You didn't play?
Yeah, I played a bit of it. I liked is it Tiny? Is it the Tiger?
Tiger? Yeah, my boy. Well, he's not my boy. He's quick, but he's very slow at turning. That was his downfall. He couldn't turn very quick because he was so big. One of my favorites was Dingo Dial. He was so cool.
Yeah, I remember Dingo Dial.
Dingo Dial. Engine as well was good. I mean, you got the all-round good racers like Crash and Cortex. Then you had Engine, who was not the quickest, but then he turned really well, and he was quick at acceleration. Tiny, who was fast, but then really slow at turning. So they all had their pros and cons. And you had the Tiger, Puma, I think it was called, and the polar bear as well.
Yeah, I do remember Puma.
So good. Can't wait for this. Anyway, it's coming out June 21st on Switch, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. So that's very exciting, and I cannot wait. This is definitely a game to play on the Switch, I think. Being able to play this on the go is going to be so cool, and I cannot wait.
Very keen.
And because we're talking about PlayStation, sorry, I'm just going to quickly go on to another one. We're talking about Xbox, Switch, and we spoke a few weeks ago about how Rocket League is now cross-play on all the platforms, including PlayStation. Well, it was revealed this week. Initially, this was leaked, but now it's been confirmed that Xbox Live is coming to Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android. I mean, reading between the lines of this, it sounds a bit strange that you'd have Xbox Live on these platforms, but it doesn't really do much or add much in terms of crossplay and things like that. But what it does do, sorry, I literally jumped, and I hope you couldn't hear on the thing, because as I was talking, I clicked on the article and the video started playing, and there was like shun, shun, shun noises because there's like a countdown on the screen, and honestly, it made me shit myself. Absolutely scared the shit out of me. Anyway, so Xbox Live going to be on Nintendo Switch, and I mean, potentially what this does mean. I mean, I think from what I've read, in games that already offer crossplay, like Minecraft and things like that, you can already log into your Xbox Live on other platforms. But potentially, what this could mean, if you've got the same game on multiple platforms, you could potentially earn achievements on your Xbox Live account whilst playing on Nintendo Switch or something like that. Things like that.
Colin, let's just slow down a second, because the fact they said that the Xbox Live app is coming to iOS, Android, and Switch makes me feel like, don't get me wrong, I like the stuff you're selling me. I like the ice cream you're selling me at halftime at the show. But I feel like the fact they've said it's coming to Android and iOS, I feel like this is an app as much as it's like a, see if your friends are online, buy games on the digital Xbox store. Like, I don't think you'll be able to play. I mean, I'm hoping to be proved wrong, but I feel like you're not going to be able to do much actual gaming through it. I feel like it's more of like a lifestyle kind of side app.
Yeah, no, initially, this isn't going to add much in terms of gaming, but it's just like, this is the start of something bigger, you know, about
I see what you mean, actually.
revolution. It's interesting that Xbox is the one really pushing this. I mean, in the past, Xbox has always been seen as like the runt of the litter when it comes to the big three of PlayStation, Microsoft, and Nintendo. But it's weird, like Microsoft are really pushing this, and PlayStation have been very resistant on it, which is quite a flip, really. But it's interesting, and obviously it could be the potentially the start of something big. And you know, we've got crossplay on Fortnite and Rocket League, and hopefully more games in the future. So yeah, surely the ideal situation is where all these developers are standing in a big circle on top of a hill, similar to the hill in The Sound of Music. You know, the very first opening shot where Julie Andrews is spinning around, they're holding hands, and they're spinning in a circle, and they're singing "Kumbaya, my lord," because they should all be in harmony, and it'll be a good time for everyone.
And Kumbaya is a banger.
It is a "Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya." Did you ever sing that at school when you had to
Yeah,
do
of
hits?
course. Else I wouldn't have called it a banger.
It is a fucking banger, right?
And sometimes, Colin, sometimes I used to cheat and I used to sing "Cucumber, my lord, cucumber."
Did you actually say it so people could hear, or did you like say it really quietly, whilst everyone else was singing the actual right words?
It would depend who I was sat next to.
Fair enough. Fair enough. When you're sat on the bench, when you're sat on the benches, when you're in like year 6, you could sing it because you're like,
absolutely.
Everyone looks after you. Yeah. What other news? What news have you got for me? Come on.
Right. Well, I've got a lot of stuff for you, so I'm just going to rattle off. Because we were talking a minute ago about Mario Kart World Tour and how it's cancelled, or not cancelled, delayed for mobile. So it seems like Nintendo have broke glass in case of emergency, because this week we found out that a new Dr. Mario free-to-play game is coming to mobile. It's being headed up by developers from South Korea called NHN Entertainment. And basically, it's a summer release. It's going to be available in 60 different countries, and presumably at some point in Europe. There's no mention of Europe yet, but give it time. Early summer 2019 global release, and free to play. I don't know how that's going to work with money and ads and stuff, maybe. But this is exciting. Dr. Mario is obviously a great puzzle game. It's currently on Nintendo Switch online. If you want to give it a try before committing to it on mobile, I think this could be a really good move for them, and a classic puzzle game made relevant again. I'm really up for this. Also, in Nintendo news, because Colin, I'm just going to rattle these things off.
Rattle them. Go on.
Darksiders have tweeted that Darksiders War Master Edition is coming out on April the 2nd, digitally and in retail stores for the Nintendo Switch. Have you played Darksiders 1?
I've not played Darksiders 1, but we were very excited when this was announced. So it's
yeah.
good.
Darksiders, if you've not ever played it before, the first Darksiders game is like a more, I would say, a more dungeon focused Zelda game. It's very much like using equipment to solve puzzles in 3D, shooting things, big combat bosses. It's really good, and it rips off Portal a little bit, but I would really recommend it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that coming across. And they've tweeted as well to say that they're considering doing the next one as well, which is the definitive edition of Darksiders 2. So fingers crossed for that. And whilst I'm rattling through, Colin, like a rattly cart, according to the Nintendo website, Switch sales have now topped 32 million units. The Nintendo 3DS is now on almost 75 million units, and the Wii U is on a head 2.56 million. It's actually a really interesting list to go and read all the things it did well and didn't do well. You can find heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com website. This was in their financial sales data for the end of last year. So yeah, 32 million Switches out in the wild.
Whoa, that is a lot of Switches in the wild, man.
It's huge.
Huge if true.
Well, I mean, it is true. Nintendo reporting.
Fair enough. Can we believe them? Can we believe Nintendo? I guess we can.
I hope so.
Yeah, I guess we can.
What else is happening, Colin?
Well, there's two bits of news here. Let's quickly talk about the Nintendo Switch Online services and the two games that have been announced that are coming. If you are a member of Nintendo Switch Online, Super Mario Bros. 2 and Kirby's Adventure will be available through the what do they call it? The old games, the Nintendo Entertainment System, where you can play old games if you're a member of Switch Online.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have been quite critical of the games available on there. Now, I thought Super Mario Bros. 2 was already on there because I swear I played one. Maybe I was playing like the third or fourth one or something. But looking at the gameplay of it looks very similar. I mean, I've never played Kirby's Adventure. I've never played a Kirby game in my life.
I've only really played Kirby's Pinball.
Oh, pinball games are great. I remember Sonic Pinball was great. I love that one.
Oh, have you played Yoku's Island Express on Switch?
Yoku's Island Express? No.
Download the demo for it tonight and play that, and get back to me next week. I think you'd like that.
I just thought, 2 weeks ago, didn't you give me like some homework to play a new Switch game?
I did.
There you go. We'll leave that there. Anyway, maybe I will. Yoku's Island Express.
Download the demo. Trust me, you'll have a good time.
Are there any good pinball games on Nintendo Switch? I'd actually really love to play a pinball game now.
Really download Yoku's Island Express. You'll have a good time.
Oh. Platform Pinball Adventure. Oh my god, it all makes sense. Right, okay, so they're on Nintendo Switch Online if you are a member of that particular thing. And one final bit of news that I've got, I don't know whether Chris has got anything else in the oven brewing, but Nintendo there's been a job posting. No, it wasn't Nintendo, it was the Pokemon company, I believe, have put a job listing up for a new game developer to work on a new game. And this could potentially mean a new Pokemon title is in the works. That's pretty much the long and short of it, really. There's not really much detail on this, but from one of the articles I was reading about this, is that it's quite strange that the Pokemon company would actually make a game themselves, as this is implying. Normally, they license out to other people. Normally, they do the marketing side of things and distribution and stuff, but the actual development of games is done by outside companies. So this is interesting. I think I saw you about to say something. I can see you keep breathing. You keep doing
famously, Pokemon Go is made by Niantic.
Yes, exactly. So this is interesting because it seems like this job posting, it's for a mobile game, could be being made directly by the Pokemon company. But we wait and see for more information. I mean, there's no details as to what this game is. It's very early days. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Could just be
some people are saying it could be a companion app.
Yeah, maybe, but because it's in its infancy, because they just put this job post out, it probably won't be out for a while. But yeah, it's interesting to speculate. Could there be anything bigger than that? If the Pokemon company are getting their fingers dirty, their hands dirty, then what are they going to rustle up? But then saying that, this makes me think of that. Who's that guy who does the graphic novels? Something Miller.
Mark Miller.
Maybe he did like the. Oh my god, I can't remember the names or any of these things. That film of Bruce Willis that was based on a graphic novel.
Red.
Not red, no, well, that one, but there was another one. Black and white.
Oh, you're thinking of Frank
City.
Miller, Sin
Frank
City.
Miller, Sin City. Because didn't he have a spin-off from the Sin City universe called The Ghost or something with Samuel L. Jackson? And this Miller guy, he decided to direct it himself, even though he'd never directed the film before. And it was absolutely terrible because
There we
he
go.
wasn't
Sorry,
a
the
director.
Wi-Fi went.
I was going to say like that. Is it Frank Miller? Frank Miller had another graphic novel, I think it was called The Ghost or something like that. And it had Samuel L. Jackson was in the film version.
Oh, yeah. And this is it The Spirit?
The Spirit, that's what I'm thinking of. And he directed it. And he never directed anything before because he's a book. He does graphic novels, and it was absolutely panned. And they said the direction was awful and it was terrible. So it could be something like that if the Pokemon Company are trying to do it themselves. But we wait and see. Hopefully, it won't be as bad as that. Samuel Mother effing Jackson. Have you ever seen Snakes on a Plane?
I have.
Is it any good?
It is very B-movie funny. Also, I think you've got your Frank Millers confused.
There's so many Millers.
I think oh no,
George Miller
no,
as
sorry.
well.
I'm thinking of he did Sin City, didn't he?
Yeah, that's
he
what
did Sin City. He did Sin City: A Dame to Kill For, and that was trash as well.
Frank Miller, yeah, it was Frank Miller. That's his name.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. He did do The Spirit.
Yeah, and he decided to try and be a film director, and it didn't go very well. He also was the author of 300, which is a great film.
Here's the thing, Colin.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to give people the opportunity to experiment in different creative mediums. For example, you might listen to us as a podcast and want to experiment in the creative medium of Twitter. How would people get in touch?
Oh my God, that's shit hot. I think Chris is trying to wrap it up.
Seamless, wasn't it?
Really good. Well, we're on the Twitters at Handheld Podcast. That's at Handheld Podcast. We're on Facebook, Heroes of Handheld. Our website, heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com. On that website, you can listen to all the previous episodes of Heroes of Handheld. You can email us through the Contact Us button. You can learn about, you can see reviews, you can see loads of cool stuff. So much fun to be had there. I'd definitely recommend episode 167. That was a really high point in our career. 167. That's where we peaked, I feel. Nominated for a few awards, Sony Awards and podcast awards and stuff like that.
Narrowly, 167 was a classic.
Narrowly defeated by the Square Eyes podcast, which took all the awards that year. How else? We're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher. If you search Heroes of Handheld podcast, you'll find us everywhere. And if you want to email us, it's heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. That's heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. Anything else, Chris, you'd like to say?
We'll be back next week. Colin will probably be here. I'll definitely be here.
We will talk. I'm hoping to be, but we'll see how it goes.
So we will be, hopefully one of us, well, definitely, don't worry. Whatever happens,
swish, swish,
I'll
swish.
be here.
Another one in the basket. Do you remember that meme?
Yeah, I do.
That was big if true. Right. Thank you for listening, everybody. Oh, you're going to say something. I keep looking at like your video, and I keep seeing my mouth is open, ready to say something.
I just laugh because like time to say goodbye, and then you just start referencing memes no one's thought about for 2 years.
Prequel memes is where it's at, and forever will be at.
Fair enough.
And SpongeBob memes, Super Bowl SpongeBob memes.
Of course, Sweet Victory.
Soiled it. That was so annoying that they teased us like that. Not good. Not good, is it?
Pricks. Have a good week.
Bye, everyone.